Welcome to multiple scenes in one blend file. Scenes are a way to organize your work. Each blend file can contain multiple scenes which may share other data such as objects, materials, and collections. A scene defines the visible objects like this cube, camera view, lighting setup, or even render properties or resolution, etc. A single blend file may include multiple scenes for different shots, lighting setups, or stages of a production pipeline. There are multiple choices you can make. Adding a new scene. New creates an empty scene with default values. Copy settings creates an empty scene but copies render and world settings from the active scene. For example, if I choose Cycles Render Engine, this setting will be copied to the new scene, but not the stuff in the viewport or collection. Linked copy creates a new scene that shares all data with the current one. The new scene contains links to the same collections, objects, and data blocks as the original. Changes made in one scene automatically affect the other, since they reference the same data. Now you might ask, what is the purpose of a linked copy? It is very unintuitive in Blender, but I show you how I handle and use it. For example, I want the same render setup and only need to edit it once, but I want to render multiple objects. You can just drag the object. You don't want to be linked to another collection that doesn't exist while you clicked Linked Copy. Now I can just make changes globally on my background, camera, or light. Full copy creates a fully independent scene with unique copies of all objects, materials, and their data. This is useful for variations or alternate versions of a scene that should not affect the original. You can also drag and drop another blend file into your viewport and append or link the scene. Use append and you can change your scene here. If you use linked, you will only be able to make changes in the original file. You have to choose what you want to add to your current file. Easiest way is just to add the whole scene. You can find it here. As you can see, linked scenes are unable to be edited. If you pack your resources into the blend file, what you can do here at File, External Data, Pack Resources, multiple materials from multiple scenes will be packed too. But if they are pointing on the same texture on your hard drive, this will be packed only once. This is useful if you have to make sure all the necessary files, textures, backgrounds will be shipped with your file. Sometimes you miss something, packing it into a zip file, or you break a link by changing the file path. And with this function, you will not get into trouble. For example, I use a texture on this cube, and then renaming the original file. Then, when he opens the file, everything is pink. I apply the new renamed file now, and pack it this time. Ignore this message. It just says the other file isn't readable. Of course, because I renamed it. I renamed the file back again, so Blender shouldn't be able to find it again. See, this file no longer exists. I renamed it again, but it is still visible in Blender. You can also see if something is packed by checking this icon here. You can also unpack your blend files here at File, External Data, Unpack Resources. This unpacks all external resource files stored into a blend file. Use Files in Current Directory. Unpacks all files in the same directory as the blend file, grouping them in proper folders like textures, for instance. However, if the final file exists already, it will use that file instead of unpacking it. Write files to current directory As with previous option, but if the final file exists already, it will overwrite it. Use files in original location. Unpacks all files in their original location. So the location where you get and packed it on your drive. However, if the final file exists already, it will use that file instead of unpacking it. Write files to original location. As with previous option, but if the final file exists already, it will overwrite it. Disable Autopack. Keep all packed files only deactivates the automatically pack resources option. Don't forget to check out my other unique tutorials. Thanks for watching.